Facebook on the Congressional hot seat. This is MacVoices. Today's MacVoices is supported by MacVoices After Dark. Uncensored, off-topic, and always off the wall. MacVoices After Dark is available as a benefit to our Patreon subscribers. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I saw a t-shirt over the weekend that said, "This is my circus and these are my monkeys." That's what I got going on here, right here. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices Live. It's Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, whatever time it is, wherever you are. We are live on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We would love to have you join us in the chat room. Throw in your comments, questions, thoughts, what you're having for dinner. That seems to be a topic tonight. I'm not quite sure why, but hey, whatever. So a couple things tonight that I want to start out with. First, very specifically, I am wearing pink. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so please get out there, support that cause, because it is a very important one, a very good one. Second, to start out tonight, before I introduce the panel, this is kind of a somber night because 10 years ago today, as we record this, we lost Steve Jobs. And a lot of bloggers and podcasters and all have been kind of reflecting on what they were doing and what they did that night. And I remember very well, and I will put a link in the chat rooms here in just a second, to a Mac Jury show we did on that night that was sort of with an impromptu panel just talking about the impact Steve had and on all of us. I can tell you right now, it's a little rough compared to today's production values, but you'll see that it is very, very heartfelt. So 10 years ago, kind of hard to believe it's been that long. So with that, I wanted to get those two serious topics out of the way because I kind of know what's coming with this group. So we're going to go around the room and let you know who's here, and then we'll get into tonight's topics. I'm going to fake them all out this time and do reverse order. So starting from the bottom, Patrice Brend'amour. Patrice, great to have you. Thanks for being here.
Hi. A funny story. I was here about half an hour ago because I didn't realize it was later. So, and then I joined late. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you. I know it's quite late for you, but we always appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I wasn't today. Definitely didn't go as planned. I was planning on taking a nap, but I worked on stuff. So
wow, that
I might be a little loopy, but I think that's fine.
You'll fit in just perfectly.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what's
be fit.
That's everybody
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Beside Patrice is Mr. Mark Fuccio. Mark, good to have you.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. It's been a couple of weeks since it was last year, so thanks again for the invitation. It's always good to be here with you in the panel, and look forward to hopefully some good discussion and
we
missed some good
you.
jokes.
Yeah, missed you. Glad to have you back. And as usual, you have an interesting background.
Yeah, for some reason, I got a piece of mail this week from the New Yorker, and I scanned one of the cartoons, and another one I've had for a decade or more. About the dogs, where they say, I used to have a blog, but I gave up, and I've just gone back to incessant barking and implying no one can tell the difference. On this day where Facebook is getting roasted in front of Congress, I think it's appropriate.
Understood. Warren Sklar is back. Warren, good to see you. I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, monkey number 3 reporting for duty.
Okay. Now I got to get t-shirts for everybody. Guy Searle is with us again. Guy,
Hey.
We haven't seen you for a while too.
I know. Well, I went to Chicago, and then all the stuff that happened, and it was hot, and I just decided, I was tired, so here I am.
Okay. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Jim Ray is back, looking straight at the camera with his Plexicam. Good to have you, Jim.
Yep. This odd thing right in my face.
Yeah. Yeah, but
It's like 3D.
You're making the sacrifice for all of us. Thank you.
Exactly.
Jay Miller is here doing his best impression of I'm not quite sure who.
No, I just want to throw out there, I'm not going to be here next week because I'm traveling, which means hold on to your butts. I got to bring enough shenanigans to last us until November.
Okay. All right. Well,
Sounds
where's
like
that?
a threat.
Yeah, where's that
Halloween
mute
to you,
switch?
then.
Where's that mute switch?
I
Jeff
think that's
Gammon is-
permanently attached to me.
you- Jeff Gammon is here with a very fresh new haircut.
Jealous.
So fresh that I still have hair all over my shirt, and I probably
is
should have
cartoon hair,
changed
by
my
the way.
shirt right before the show. But here we
You
are.
kind of look a little bit like the mountain lion you posted today.
Yeah, I got a haircut, both of them.
See, that's efficient. Take care of them all at once.
Haircut's going to be the first thing I do when I get out of here.
Understood. Last but absolutely not least, well, not exactly last, actually, Mr. David Ginsburg. David, welcome.
Glad to be here. It's always a blast to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it always is. And coming in late, fashionably late, at any second,
Miss Kelly.
That is trouble.
there's Miss Kelly Gamont.
Yeah, we're doing intros.
Kelly!
She made it. She made it. How are you,
Hey.
Kelly?
Hi!
Not bad.
Good. Sounds a little tentative, but okay, whatever.
Well, I'm not always sure. So
Okay. You just take your temperature, take your blood pressure, see how everything is going.
Or another
We'll
drink.
Mm.
Drinks.
So tonight, it would be almost criminal not to just touch on Facebook. Yesterday there was a major outage. Today, as Mark indicated earlier, they were being roasted before Congress in the U.S. And some of us would say rightly so. So I'm curious to see just what the group thinks about all the Facebook shenanigans over the past 2-3 days.
We have a volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah, Guy is raising his hand. What is happening?
Hi.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good. And you guys are just killing me here.
Okay, yeah.
The thing that bothers me the most about all of this is that the allegations being made are nothing new. These have been out for years, and for the most part, the press has ignored them, and it's only because it's now getting a little bit of attention that they're jumping on the bandwagon. But other than that, I mean, why they don't care? It's just another story for them. It's something else to enrage people by, and that's like the whole thing that everyone seems to be upset about with Facebook. So, 6 of one, half dozen of another. I don't really see where the press gets off on acting all indignant on what Facebook has been doing when it's the same thing they've been doing for years.
I'll go as resident Facebook protector. I'll say my piece and get out of here. But the bigger the company, the louder the whistleblower is going to be. Money talks. Every company that is out there in the world has whistleblowers, and they all have HR issues, and they're dealing with people who are doing the wrong things. Even Apple is having their little thing with their issues with their hostile workplace for a couple of women. And every company is going to handle it the way they're going to handle it. And, every company, legitimate company, has an HR department. My best friend, he's retired, but he worked for Merck, which is in the news now. And, he tells stories too. And no company is immune to people. People are, people could say things, in the Facebook thing, people are saying that this woman doesn't even, hasn't even worked in what she's talking, she's talking about things that she hasn't even experienced at the job. We don't know, honestly, we don't know. But, let HR deal with it. A lot of things Facebook is being accused on now is exactly what Guy said. And some of it's like basically saying, oh yeah, by the way, Facebook and Instagram and all that is, bad for kids.
It's not even that it's bad for kids. The stuff that Facebook is doing shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. You know, their whole thing, Facebook, the whole thing with all of these
internet,
all of these services is engagement. So
before Facebook was, I was on message boards, BBS boards, before anything came, and that sucked sometimes. And there was days where I hated myself for something that somebody commented back in 94 or whatever. It's once you start putting your feelings or emotions outside into the public in any form, it's bad. And it's nothing new. It's nothing Facebook did. It's nothing MySpace did. And Guy, you posted something that's very true. When Facebook is gone, another Facebook will come.
Yeah,
and that's going to be life, and we have to, as humans, get used to the fact that that's what it is. And if we don't like it, don't be on it. My feeling has always been, when I die in my deathbed, am I going to say I wish I participated in social media, or do I wish I didn't? And
Warren, really quick, you said something that I want to just touch on. You said if you don't like it, don't be on it. Let's just remember that Facebook owns WhatsApp, which for many people in the world, as much as I want to say they have a choice, they don't have a choice. They need to be on WhatsApp.
They need to be, but there's nothing stopping another company from being the WhatsApp. And
I'm not on WhatsApp.
Pretending
that's what I'm saying. There are countries in the world where WhatsApp is more important than Facebook, and where WhatsApp is more important than 911 in many
WhatsApp
cases.
Is not used it's not used as a social.
Right. It's not social media at all.
It's a communication tool more.
It's a chat.
It's a public. Yeah. It's a public utility almost.
It's like a Zoom or a Skype for them, right? So it's they're not putting their feelings out. There's no girls in China or wherever this is saying, I hate life because of WhatsApp. It's not like that. It's a communication tool. And if that went away, then that would be bad. But I think somebody else would come along and do whatever they need to do.
All of these companies live and die on engagement, on getting as many people, as many eyeballs as they can on whatever content it is that they're providing. So all Facebook is basically doing, and I'm not defending Facebook, I'm not defending any social media site. They're skating not where the puck was, but where the puck is going to be. And that's always going to be whatever it takes to get more and more people engaged in their site. And so the fact that Facebook is using negative emotions, or they're using people's negative feelings to get them more engaged, is not a surprise. It's basically what mainstream media has been doing for the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's business. So it's been the same with TV shows.
And
it's been the same
terrible.
With movies. It's been the same with commercials. The eyeballs are, sure, you're shaking your head, Kelly, but what's different?
Yes, I am. Well, because different? It's not the same with movies. A movie is a 2-hour thing that you are
right,
and the marketing around it is a certain amount of thing. But there's nothing specific about watching a movie that is meant to be engagement. That's meant to make me spend more time with that movie.
Right, because once you've seen the movie, you walk away from it. You're done with it.
Right, and that's a discrete unit of.
I'm getting more to commercials and eyeballs, and the fact that if I watch a football game, I have to everything's beer, and I don't. I'm a recovering alcoholic. It offends me. Okay, it doesn't, but but I think part of the thing that I think is the reason this is ending up being a lot of conversation is because, first of all, we have somebody who's actually from Facebook who showed up with receipts. This isn't an external company has said that this is a thing that happened, or there's this organization that says the best they can figure based on Facebook something. It's bad. And it's not anything like that at all. This is somebody from Facebook who is saying something about Facebook. Yeah, loud whistleblowers with a big company. And I guess I invite every other company that has a problem like this for their whistleblowers to come forward to, and you'll be shocked and bored of all the stuff we have to read. Because every company in the world has their own problems to deal with. And
This isn't about that.
No.
What's it about?
It's about an organized effort to keep people engaged using the worst parts of people's humanity and understanding that that's what's keeping them engaged. So they're playing people off one another just to keep them on Facebook. They're playing off people one another just to keep them watching CNN or MSNBC or Fox or Instagram or name your social media platform of choice. This isn't limited to Facebook. This is a phenomena that has kind of come about because of the internet, because of the global community that the internet has become. And what we're finding is that in a lot of cases, people are a-holes, and their whole point is to be an a-hole. And that's all they have going for them. And the people that are the loudest are the ones that are getting the most attention. And negative attention for a lot of these people is better than no attention at all.
Right. But as I said, it's not a Facebook problem. We said it too. It's not a Facebook problem.
But it is a
But-
Facebook problem.
Well,
It is-
It's just
no,
not,
it is
it's not limited to Facebook.
In 1992, with the bulletin board that I used to join, which was a car forum, it was very Facebook-like before Facebook. People would post, people would reply, people would, say you're an idiot. People would say, a lot of things. And what's the difference?
Well,
Because
Well-
the
Well,
owner
the
of that
diff-
message
wait,
board
wait.
was not mining your
Okay.
data in order to make money off the stuff that you were saying to other people on the message board.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure they were.
Okay.
There are ads all over the place.
Yeah, but
Well-
I think it's first of all, it's a little bit different, Warren. It's the fact that the organization that is hosting the boards is actively promoting or putting the algorithms in to put the negative comments. I agree with you that this has always been part of the internet. This is part of human nature. It doesn't matter, whether it's the clique at the office or the card club on Friday nights. There's always this negative thing. It's the fact that the entity is prioritizing the negative stuff and then making money off of it. Before I let anybody else in, I want to welcome Brittany Smith. She got here just a little bit late, but we're not ignoring you, Brittany. Just trying to find a way to stick a crowbar in and get you introduced. Thanks for being
Look at-
Mm-hmm.
my, my other meeting ended early.
Oh,
Yay!
good.
I know.
I
It's
know you
awesome.
love that. I know you love that.
Chuck,
And-
I like the web's question in the chat about
Yeah.
the fact about the whistleblower. I'd like to bring up. If I understand correctly, she's not liable for anything because that was freedom of information she was able to take with her. She doesn't work for she doesn't work for Facebook anymore, and I believe there's laws against of employees retaliating against companies like that and related to being whistleblowers. So I don't think she has any liability to that, right?
Well, actually,
Well-
on that, I would say that it's true. Whistleblower is unfortunately too broad a term, and there are protections in the government about
Yeah.
whistleblowers that flow to government contractors, of which I don't believe Facebook is one.
Right.
On the other things, it all depends on. Ultimately, it will turn on any whatever NDA agreement she has signed, as well as the materials themselves, if they were marked confidential and proprietary or not. Assuming they are not bearing any such restrictive marking, she's probably off scot-free. If they are,
Yeah.
then it's up to does Facebook want to pursue her? Does she want to get an attorney? How much do they want to spend to go after each other? It's a bunch of it's going to be a dogfight or or a cockfight.
Or hole in the middle of
razor
Arizona.
blades on roosters and let them go fight each other. At that point, who knows what the outcome will be. But I'd say right now it really all depends on just how this material was marked. And
Yeah, and I would think she consulted with somebody. I don't think she was not that intelligent of a person to not know that she can't just start spouting off this information from what she got internally
probably
before she decided before she committed to talking to 60 Minutes and talking to the press, and then now it was in front of Congress. I mean, it's
Well,
Yeah,
At some point, Dave, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was proprietary. It doesn't matter if it was protected conversations. None of that's going to matter because it's already out there. And sure, they can go after her, but all that's going to do is just fan the flames and make it even worse for Facebook. So
The
they,
girl from
they
Apple, did she?
even if she went into Zuck's office, into his personal file cabinet, pulled out stuff, and then that said confidential and secret when stamped, do not allow anyone to ever see this, and handed it to someone in Congress, they would not be able to, well, they could, but they wouldn't prosecute her.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're making a really extreme. You're making a really extreme case. I mean, let's instead of some sort of hypothetical, let's deal with where we are. And I think the reality is, she may have violated her confidential agreement.
She doesn't care.
What does the agreement provide for in the event that that she does it? And that is something that she may have an exposure. But I agree with you. As a practical matter, I think it would make them look so goddamn bad to go after her that they're not going to do it. Instead, they'll do all these insidious things. Oh, she was never in a meeting with senior executives where a decision was made. So they're going to, instead of throwing battery acid at her, they're going to throw battery acid around the ground on which she stands and hope she sinks into quicksand and her credibility.
I don't think they'll do that either. I think they're just going to stay as quiet as they possibly can and wait for.
They've already done it. They've done it today. They've
been doing character assassination all day.
Well, they said she wasn't involved in anything that she's talking about. And I mean, again, who are we to disagree or agree? I mean, I don't know.
Right. I mean, I think the fact of the matter is, I mean, she has the documents and she's testifying about what she knows or which, and I think she's also being very clear on what she doesn't know. So, attacking her credibility, I think is misguided. I think, again, I think this is as a long-term, Facebook watcher, this is going to lead up to, we're going to see Mark Zuckerberg, apologize for what they're doing and promise to do better, blah, 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 blah. I think
what's her motivation?
Pardon me?
What's her motivation?
I have no idea.
Anybody?
I don't know. I don't know the woman. I have no idea what her motivation is.
Sadly, there are people in the world that just do things because it might be the right thing to do. By the way, I think Patrice had something earlier.
Yeah.
I forgot about it already. I've just been following. No, I mean, honestly, I think Facebook is different. I mean, we had a discussion, is Facebook different than a bulletin board? And I think it is. Because the difference is, there have been numerous studies about the influence the Facebook timeline has on people's moods, and that let's say negative timeline will influence how people see the world. And I think we've seen the effects in the last 4+ years at least, like probably longer. We've seen how Facebook can pit people against each other and what effects that has. And if it was the people on the platform that did it, I would say, okay, it's the people, but it's the platform itself who's doing that. And I think that's where the difference is. If the people, it's the people. Free freedom of speech.
So I would disagree. I think I would side with something Warren was saying earlier. And that is, I think Facebook is more of an amplifier for people's behavior, good or bad. And I think in that regard, yes, maybe they are actively trying to stir up the pot and get people fighting and interacting with each other. But I think they're just an amplifier. And this time, there's a lot of pent-up resentment against Facebook over roles in a couple of U.S. presidential elections, as well as roles in promoting or distributing pro-vax or anti-vax COVID recommendations. That I think this time we'll have to see that there may be enough of our politicians grandstanding in Congress that they may actually try to do something about it. Or maybe not. It could just blow over like the Cambridge Analytica thing, which looked really horrible and really bad for them 3 or 4 years ago when that But
broke. That's not what this is about. What this is about is that Zuckerberg sat in front of Congress and said a list of things to Congress. about this is how Facebook operates. This is what Facebook is doing. This is the kind of thing we do. This is our procedure. This is how things work at Facebook. And she is now in front of Congress saying, this is how things work at Facebook. This is what we do at Facebook. This is how these things are done. This is standard operating procedure at Facebook. And those two accounts do not match.
No, I think
that's why this is, I think, but they don't. And that's why it's news today.
And who
Okay.
cares?
They don't.
Okay. Wait.
I've read the testimony from both of them, and they do not match. And that's the reason that this is an interesting thing today, because she is in front of Congress presenting them with a very different lay of the land than what Zuck gave them when he was in front of them before. So
can you post in the chat link? Can you post in the chat link the link to Zuck's testimony?
Okay, I'll find a summary of it. I read it at the time. So I'll see if I can find something for you that summarizes it from before.
Okay. Yeah, because my general sense is that, I think that Zuck, he's answering truthfully, and I think it's a sign that, of just how weak and feeble, the people in Congress, were in asking him questions that they couldn't get him down. And I think what's new today is, Frances Haugen is showing that when Zuck says, "Oh, we talk about this and we have these committees and so on and so forth," he never touches on the fact that, he talks about we have all these algorithms and this AI that tries to do these things. They never ask him, okay, what does the algorithm look for in incent? And I think in that regard, what she's saying is completely consistent with what has said, but she's saying that the way it actually operates is it wants to amplify and increase engagement. And oh, by the way, that's horrible for all these other reasons. I think that's the significance of the testimony today is, it's not that Zuck has lied before. It's just that this is brand new information of a type that, even the numbskulls in Congress can understand and might be able to better formulate questions and not let him, disappear behind his boyish, we screwed up, I promise we'll do better act, which he uses so many times and has gotten away with.
Okay.
They don't understand it. That's the problem.
Jeff, I want you in here because I thought you summarized it in our private chat really very, very well.
Yes. Hold on. I have to scroll back so that I can be eloquent yet again.
He said something about underpants, but that was all.
I did. Yes. Okay.
Don't scroll that far back. No.
Take 5.
Take 5. So Warren brought up the comparison of a BBS to Facebook, which I think was a great place to start. Facebook is an evolution out of the BBS as a community platform. The big difference now is that a BBS or bulletin board system back in the day could have an impact on maybe a few hundred people. In comparison, Facebook today, which is probably a lot more accessible than a BBS was back in its day, Facebook can impact millions upon millions of people.
Billions.
There's the board I'm on is still going, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And as I said, Reddit is basically a bulletin board, and basically it's got lots of people too, and people feel bad or good depending on what they're reading on that thing. So,
Warren, though, you've just mentioned Reddit, and I think that's a really interesting point because Reddit ups and downs votes things.
Yeah, that's a big factor with Facebook.
Yeah, and that's easily manipulated. But
is
somebody's going to have
manipulating that.
Exactly. Yes, I can gather up 3,000 friends and we can push something to the top. It's really hard to do that on Facebook when the algorithm is intent on, advancing whatever is the most emotionally charged thing there.
Reddit doesn't have an algorithm that says the post that says Warren sucks is automatically going to get way more reach than the one that says Warren is awesome.
It has, no, but it does have the most activity.
But it's people powered, and it's up to people. I see that, and I can choose to interact with that or not because it went up today, and I'm looking at everything that went up today, the end. And Reddit, for all its faults, and there are many, but for all its faults, it doesn't have the thing that Reddit is monetizing is not your interaction with Reddit. It's buying stuff with them, buying through them, and etc. And I've spent time on Reddit, and that's why I know. And yeah, Reddit has some dark corners that are absolutely terrible, and I do not recommend them. But at the same time, like, there's nobody from Reddit who's sitting in front of Congress and saying, this is what we're doing, and then finding out that that's absolutely not the case.
The strange part is I've never seen anything of a sort of Facebook pushing anything negative to the top of my feeds or the top of my threads or anything like that. So I've never seen an example of that. Maybe I'm good at Facebook. Maybe I just stay in the groups that I'm in. And I don't post, minor things on my timeline, but I don't even understand what that means to put the negative things in your view more, because I don't see that.
But you know what, Warren, that's something that I wanted to bring up before we leave the Facebook topic is, because I think you can you use Facebook and not be susceptible to this stuff? Can you use Twitter and not be susceptible to this stuff? And
I do.
No, you can't. You can think that you are, but you can't. That's like if I tell you to think of a soda. Name a soda, Warren.
Coke.
Okay, thank you. I just proved my point by saying Coca-Cola spends trillions of dollars over the course of its existence, so that when I say think of a soda, you say Coke. You didn't necessarily go, what's my favorite soda? You didn't say Cherry Fago. You said Coke. Facebook is a platform that is designed to sit in your ear and be a worm. And it's going to give you what it wants to give you. It's going to give you what the people that give you money, that give them money, say to give you. And they're going to give it to the people that give the most money and drive the most attention, so that at the end of the day, you just shout Coke at the end.
I agree.
People were doing that 50 years ago with advertising. I would have said Coke 50 years ago. It's advertising.
I would have also complained that it sucked then too. Well, and by the way, I'm a marketer, so I know I worked for the bad people.
Crystal Pepsi was a bomb. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so the best example I can give you, all right, MacVoices has a Facebook group on YouTube. On Facebook. Oh boy, on Facebook. All right. I manage that group. If you go in and log in and just go to nothing but the MacVoices group, you're not going to find political commentary because I'm monitoring it,
right?
And I won't allow it. And and there are multiple groups that you can do that for, where somebody is paying attention, and so that comes back to my question. I believe you can use these platforms, and I don't want to take any money out of anybody's pocket unnecessarily. But on the other hand, I don't want to feed the bad stuff either. So if you go to the right groups,
where are they going to get this bad info? Because again, if you stay in the groups that you like, and you post status of the restaurant you're at, where is this coming from? Sure, if I go into the political groups, or if I go into the next door type groups, the local groups, things like that. Some of them are ugly because and then you realize, you know what? It's not actually Facebook. My neighbors are assholes, and that's
but that's exactly the thing.
Maybe that's a good thing that I knew that because of Facebook.
Our MacVoices live panel continues a rather heated discussion of Facebook in the next edition of MacVoices, and then we turn our attention to the 10-year anniversary of Steve Jobs' death. The panel discusses their memories, their interactions, their impressions, and some of those impressions and opinions might just surprise you. That's next time on MacVoices, and I hope you'll join us. Until then, and as always, I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.